What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Welcome to the morning bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. And I'm joined alongside by young Jose Bouquet here for this big telecast. We have a huge card here I'm excited about. Jose, how are you, my friend?
We're doing well. We can't dilly-dally too much, but it's nice to see everyone in the chat bright and early here. Let's get after it here.
I did get the LASIK eye surgery on Friday, starting to get more comfortable with it, and you are aging poorly. I didn't realize how poorly you are aging.
I'm looking at you through your vision right now as you're a little blurry.
Nice.
But at the very least, you can now see it's all sharp and focus.
It is all sharp and focus. Backstage, you mentioned that you were German, and our friend Flash, our first guest, our superstar guest, said you look Turkish.
You know, I didn't know what he meant by that. I thought the Turkish people look great.
I hope you do, because he's right. You do look a little Turkish. Shout out to all the cappers joining us. We've got Justin McKelvey in the house. Stacks play day 1 and 2 are in. Tigers, A's over 8. Red Sox, White Sox over 8.5. Slow Jams, Arsenal in the house. Great to see Slow Jams. We have Lychees, Turnbuckle, Tommy ready to get to work. Ronnie Loft and TJ's play day is the Boston Red Sox. Man, the books were just screaming to us, Jose, that Boston should be bet. Screaming at us last night. I haven't gone over all. I did look, of course, at all the bets I've made and where the lines moved since, but I also doubled down on your Boston Red Sox, Jose, your Boston Red Sox. Let me copy and paste the action here right under Stacks Plays of the Day. We got TJ's Play of the Day. Shout out to Taint on the Giants yesterday. Excellent work. Serious business in the house. Grand Slam Play of the Day is Marlins first 5 backing Meyer. I don't think it's backing Meyer. It's fading. Woo, on the road. The most predictable pitcher. He's the most predictable athlete in sports right now, and I pray that he continues because the line isn't really helping us get there. Billy Friedrich in the house. Sharpie says, looking into the Mizrowski start, this may be his last start before the All-Star break. They could pitch him against Sunday, but I don't see them doing it. Low-key ready to get to work. Sharpie, Billy Friedrich. Shout out to Billy Friedrich. Pig Milk Play today was also a casher yesterday on Belgium. Belgium to advance, and that was
to see that
very, very easy. That cost me a lot. That was the America to reach the quarters was plus 333. It's a very, very costly loss there. But let's get to work here. Thank you guys for joining us. Very excited about bringing on our first guest. He is the star over at BetUS. He has been putting money in our pocket in every single major soccer event that's taken place since I left Costa Rica. Every single event, he's put money in our pocket. And if Argentina beats Egypt, we cash the Morocco to be the last standing African nation, which is plus 225. Take a little bit of the sting of the American to reach the quarters. But you guys didn't give me that. That was my own work. That was my own. You guys, all Flash gave us was America to win the group, which they did after 2 games. I went on my own and lost the money on the quarters. Sharpie says Flash is the man. Well, let's bring him on right now. Joining us from Costa Rica, our friend Flash Gordon in the house. Flash, how are you?
I'm very well. Is that Jose's granddad with you?
God damn.
Well, morning, Mr. Jose.
Good morning to everyone as well.
Flash, my man, we've got 5 games we're going to talk to you about here. The 2 games that are going on today, and then the 3 games in the quarterfinals. But we must ask you right off the hop, what went wrong with Team USA? They got absolutely destroyed last night.
It was really painful for them because the game passed them by. It looked like the occasion was too big. On this occasion, I saw players that had been playing really confidently take 3 and 4 touches just to control the ball. That tells you straight away that the nerves are there. Then the second thing that tells you that the nerves and the brain's not in tune is they weren't seeing the obvious pass. They were like getting it down and they were stumbling in their brains and then going slow. And by the way, the defensive mistakes that we knew was always going to be there because they're not really that good at the back. But every positive that we could find in the first few games went completely AWOL. It was like one of those where it's going to be very painful for everyone concerned because they'd want that game back. The occasion was too big, and no one can say anything different. They melted. They were too nervous, and sometimes, but you've got to fall to rise, and it was really good. But when you get to the real crux of it, they were found wanting within their own minds. They were very, very poor.
Jesse Marsh, the Canadian coach, said that he'd rather be us than them. Speaking of Morocco,
well, he's off his head. He is one. I'll tell you what. Him and Roberto Martinez of Portugal should go out for dinner together. Because I tell you what, if they were chocolate, they would eat each other. The big problem I have with both of them is they're absolute frauds. Canada were an absolute joke. They'd hardly create the chance in 4 games, and then when they got.
Oh, looks like we're getting some Wi-Fi issues here. We haven't even got to the action yet. Let's pull a Flash here quickly, and then let's see if we can just bring them right back on. Flash, there you are. You're moving now. You're rocking now. Well, you nailed it. You nailed how bad Canada was. It was, and then for Jesse Marsh to say that afterwards was embarrassing.
Oh yeah, he's looking after his own job. I actually went. I put a tweet on X saying that if I was Canada and the federation, and with them types of players, I would get someone like a Marco Silva who encourages every player to play on a piece of string. So if you move there, I automatically move there, and it encourages them all to play as a team, as a unit. But there was no game plan. He was just getting by the seat of his pants. And he's just trying to look after his own job. I think he's being found out.
It's embarrassing. I just, when he could have been classy and just said, look, Morocco is a top 5 or top 10 squad in the world, and they showed that today. And we
but he could have come out, and James, he could have come out and just said, I could have done a better job by organising my players, because we look disjointed in all 4 games, and we're very, very fortunate to even get to this stage. I thank the Canadian public for all of their endeavours, because they were stars. The way that they came out and backed this whole thing was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And they knew, in spite of them knowing that the team wasn't very good, they went there full of hope and full of endeavour, unlike the management team.
And it showed the positivity and multiculturalism in Canada, all the different countries so back.
Well, it's got a touch of class, isn't it? Because obviously you've got a touch of England in there. You know what I mean? It's a touch of class about the Canadians.
we do have a lot of England in us. It was really wonderful to see what happened in Toronto and Vancouver, and I was blown away. I was blown away as well. I didn't expect the reception to be so massive. And it was fun to watch, especially Jack Pool Plaza in Vancouver. I mean, that place was just banging. Now, here in Toronto, of course, there were certain spots, especially, cheering on the Portuguese. The Portugal-Croatia game was one for the ages. And then the Mexico City England game. We got lots to ask you about here, and we don't have too much time. So let's get to work. How we're going to do this, Flash, is I'm going to set up the game. I'm going to send it over to Jose, who's going to tell us his thoughts on the game, and then Jose will send it over to you, Flash. So we start in an hour and 49 minutes. Not long from now, Argentina versus Egypt. Argentina opened up at -270. They're now -285. That's about all that's happened. We've had a slight move towards Argentina. When we get to the total here for this one, this total is sitting at a 2.5. It has moved up to a 2 3/4 at some books. It's mainly a 2.5, though. It clearly has moved slightly towards the over. We have action coming in from cappers in our chat on this one. As well. Joseph Gomez says, not sure which Egypt team shows up under 3.5. Argentina 2-0. Both teams to score no. Jose, your thoughts on this game, and then we'll hand it over to our guy Flash.
Yeah, I can make it quick. I expect Argentina to roll. A part of the FIFA corruption is giving Argentina such an easy path to the finals right now. Playing this Egypt team that's not very good anymore. Again, now they're going to play Switzerland versus Colombia next, which is probably going to be a cakewalk for them. I'd like to see Colombia because it'll be at least a South American battle in that aspect. But I think that both teams' score isn't bad, but I stayed off this game expecting Argentina to roll personally. But I would love to hear what my guy Flash has to say about this game.
Well, if you're on Morocco, then basically you're just cheering on Argentina, and it doesn't cost you anything. I think that Argentina win by 2 clear goals. I think the lad in the chat's 100% right. I think I've got this at 2-0 because Argentina have been guilty of taking their foot off the gas once they think the game has won. But they had the fright of their life against Cape Verde. For me, I do like the 2-0. But I cannot believe that Argentina -1.5 is at plus money. I would have had it at like -120, -125. And the reason I say with the -1.5 is because if Argentina are only 1-0 up, this is a like put up, shut up, take your bags to the game. They either go back to the hotel or they go straight to the airport. So Egypt have got to throw absolutely everyone, including the goalkeeper, up because I expect them to be behind in this game. Then Argentina break, and they might score a little bit like Morocco and Canada. They might score a couple late on. So for me, if you haven't got Morocco as in the top African and you want to get involved in this game, plus money, Argentina -1.5. So that means that brings in 2-0, 3-0, 3-1. I don't see Egypt scoring. I think that they are a little bit laboured up front. And I think Argentina will smother this game and just completely control it from start to finish. So for me, Argentina -1.5 at plus money.
Argentina -1.5 of plus money for Flash. Game 2 on the board, Switzerland, Colombia. Gio Bed says, drop the house on Colombia.
I like it. Jose, are you going to have an opinion here first?
On Switzerland, Colombia?
Yeah.
Oh, you can go first here if you want, Flash. It seems like you're champing at the bit right now.
Well, I just think Colombia are at +124, +120. They're the best side. The problem you've got is that Switzerland, you have no idea how they've even got this far. Obviously, they've played absolute dross all the way through. They were in Canada's group, so that tells you straight away that they had a cakewalk in that group. But Colombia are probably the third, fourth best team. I would have them on a par with likes of Spain, but they don't finish their good play. They are so guilty. They are so wasteful. And yet, outside of France, I think Colombia shift the ball quicker than anybody else. And they have real players who can hurt you. I've got to go Colombia money line because I've got these at like -105, -110, and the price is +120. I do not see Colombia getting troubled by Switzerland, who are aging, and players. I'm not sure they're up for the fight.
I thought Switzerland is not a good team this whole World Cup, and I've bet against them, and they've obviously cost me some quid this World Cup. So I agree with Flash. I expect Colombia to roll here. It's funny that Switzerland had Shaqiri forever, and now they've got Mbolo, who's going to go out there and finish and exactly
the bigger one though, Jose, that we'd already know that Argentina are in that quarterfinal, and Colombia will not want to miss the opportunity of an Argentina-Colombia quarterfinal. And by the way, is it Swiggy, and it does your graphics?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Colombia is COLO. Okay, that's Columbia, South Carolina. That.
See, that's the great part about not doing the graphics anymore. I put my hands up. I have nothing to do with them anymore. But by the way, I'll say this. I agree with Flash wholeheartedly.
What it is, no.
Well, yes, that's that. I agree with that. And I'll say this: Colombia will feel like they can beat Argentina if they play that game. They've played them so many times. I'm positive that Colombia will go in there and be like, "We can win this game, no problem."
It'll be a great game. It'll be a perfect World Cup game. Argentina, Switzerland will not be. So listen,
good
Colombia
atmosphere
plus
too.
Money in this game. It's got to be the play.
Let's move on. Let's move on to the quarters, fellas. We have massive games awaiting us. Thursday, July 9th. There's no action on Wednesday. Thursday, July 9th, France, Morocco here. I moved as you implored us to do, and I'm very thankful for France plus 500. Again, they were the second favorite off the hop. It was Spain that was the favorite to win this all. So I'm very confident in my spot here. And then once Egypt loses to Argentina, if that happens, then I don't need to worry about the Morocco action anymore. France is gone, opening up -170 with no movement, just sitting here -170 to win in regulation for this one. When we get to the total here, we have a move towards the under very slightly, the under at 2.5. And then, so looking at Morocco here at plus 561. That's a juicy number. Now we know France is world class. Jose, your thoughts on France, Morocco, and then send it over to Flash.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm bitter probably because the Morocco beat my Netherlands team and my future, but I didn't think Morocco was that impressive this whole tournament. I just think that France can go out here and smother them and beat them. It's minus. The last time I saw it was minus 170, which is kind of tough. Maybe you parlay it, maybe. And I have a friend that's a bookie, and he's been telling me that the square goal scorer parlays have been murdering him. The Mbappe, Haaland, Messi parlays have just been cashing left, right, and center. So, if you guys are interested in that one, I could see it. But I just expect, maybe I'm just being too square here, but I think France just rolls. What do you think, Flash?
Morocco got to make sure that they're on the ball from the first seconds, because if Canada had anything about them, Morocco would be out, and Canada would have been 2 or 3 up at half time, by the way. Morocco cannot start like that. I've gone with France and Spain in a money line, don't complicate it, plus 155. Plus 155. I think Spain roll Belgium. I think that's just a complete different class. We're on France anyway. But yeah, I think France win. I think Spain win. I think it's one of those you don't have to go in too deep. You don't have to do minuses. You don't have to do unders and overs, because the problem you have with the going with totals is if France are 2-0 up, they don't care winning 2-1. They don't care if they win 3. You can't. You're guessing. You're having a right guess up. So, and also, it looks like Sabiri's out, which is Morocco's #1 striker and #1 pain in the arse for opposition defenses. So, France win, Spain win. Job done, plus 155. And
that's just to advance. That's not in regulation. That's
just to win the game in 90 minutes.
Oh, in 90 minutes. Okay. In 90 minutes to get plus 155. The spot you're talking about adding is, of course, Spain, who faced Belgium on Friday. Spain sitting here minus 160. From a total standpoint here, we've seen a slight move to the over 2.5. Jose, Spain, Belgium, then hand it over to Flash.
Yeah, as soon as they beat the U.S., I said, well, I can't wait to bet against Belgium next round. This Belgium team is not good. I've followed them for the last few World Cups. I've bet on them in past future World Cups. And this is the worst Belgium team they've had in the last 3 World Cups. But the biggest thing that they've done this tournament, the thing that's turned them around, they finally turned over the keys to the new generation. Let's get the old guys, get them out of here now. Shout out to Lukaku, De Bruyne. They've been doing great, but they bring them in as subs now, which has been working really well for them. But I think by the time they come in, it'll be 2-0 at that point. I think Spain is the second best team in this World Cup, personally. So I think they win this game, and I will be on Spain here in some form or fashion.
Spain haven't let a goal in. Spain will keep the ball so much that Belgium will not have an idea where the runners have gone. And let's not get carried away with what Belgium beat, because USA did not turn up. USA had gifted them a goal because they switched off. They got themselves in the game because of a deflection, and then straight away the USA shot themselves in the foot by switching off again and going 2-1 down. Then they handed them a third, and the fourth was a mistake as well. So basically, Belgium's best players were actually USA players. So Spain, for me, are by far and away better. I think that they win it. Now, again, you can't go with totals because Spain have this habit of they just do enough. And obviously, they were Billy average against Portugal. Didn't let a goal in. They find their way in the end and win 1-0. So Spain don't complicate it. With France, don't complicate it. Plus 155.
Then our final spot is a huge, huge one for you, Flash, as you also starred for England's under-21 team, scored goals for England's under-21 team. We have Norway.
People forget Flash has those feet. People forget.
Yes,
not just feet. Don't start having a fetish on me, you know what I mean?
Flash, look, this is a game that's going to just... I can't imagine what the ratings are going to be like in Europe for England, Norway. This is a massive, massive soccer game here. We have, at this point, I thought I should have this lineup. I don't have it here on my, here we go. So the 2.5 has moved towards the over, which is a Interesting. And then the money line here, we have England at minus 109 to win in regulation, Norway at plus 315. Line not moving here. Jose, your thoughts on Norway, England? This is the final known quarterfinal spot, and hand it over to Flash.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously the game where I feel the best about the underdog. Norway's looked great. I had the pleasure of watching them in person. Every day now is Holland Day in my household because Holland has taken over this damn household by storm, unfortunately. I think it's fascinating to I'm going to be watching Holland the whole game, just him versus these English center backs. Everyone knows them on this team. Everyone knows him, and everyone knows exactly what to expect here. I thought that Gabriel might, but he instead got put into a poster in a body bag by Holland. I don't know. I'm fascinated to watch this game. I think I'm going to stay off as of now. I'd love to hear Flash's opinion, but I was definitely leaning towards Norway. I mean, that Mexico-England game was a battle, a slog. We'll see if they've got some heavy legs. You know, it's going to be a lot different atmosphere. I'm fascinated to watch this game, but I definitely think Norway has a shot, honestly.
I think you're almost spot on. I think if you're looking at this and it's about making money and being on the right side, then Norway double chance. So you've got Norway and the draw at minus 101. You have to be. This is a Premier League game. Every single player on that pitch will know each other. I think the energy comes from Norway. I think that they're so tightly matched. I mean, if you wanted to go out on a limb, you'd probably go with a draw. But you want to have Norway and the draw at around plus 100. I think that there's nothing between these two sides. And England have also got a little bit of a problem where Rice and Bellingham and Kane and O'Reilly are already on a yellow. If they get another yellow, they can't play in the semis. So how much is that going to take that little edge off of the competitive side of the game? I don't see anything between these two sides because they know each other. Because I think the energy of the Norwegian midfield against the lack of creativity on the England side of things makes you got to go as a better. You've got to go with Norway double chance and take 66% of the outcomes. Norway or the draw, you've got to go in Norway.
This was excellent, Flash. Thank you so much for running with us and, as always, putting money in our pocket. Star of Bet US. Flash, I've heard a possibility of a brand new show for you, which we're all very excited about. Can you tell us a little bit about what's coming up for you?
Yeah, next season I'm going to be doing maybe a couple of days a week of my own streaming on Kick, covering all different, obviously different sports, different guests. So I'm really looking forward to that. But obviously nail that down. But obviously everyone will be welcome, and it'll be one of those where it won't just be me giving. Obviously I'll give my opinion and we'll have a chat, but it'll also there'll be prizes in there as well, and we'll be putting on a weekly bet as a community, and then the pot will grow, and then at the end of the season, and the thing is, there'll be 2 seasons because we will have one pot at the end of the NFL season and another pot at the end of the Premier League season. So let's see if we can grow that, and if it gets to a nice chunk, then we can maybe give the money away to 4 others.
Flash, you are the man. As soon as if Argentina takes out Egypt, which is the expectation,
yes,
more money in my pocket, and then hopefully France to the championship to make things very easy. Flash, you always deliver here. If you guys don't follow Flash on X, please stop what you're doing right now and follow him. I'm going to put his X handle here in the chat. Please support our friend Flash, who does so much for us. Flash, thank you so much for your time. Any last words for the Capper Sport in the show?
Yeah, and maybe just for Jose, as per usual. If in doubt, pull it out.
Wise
man.
That's
good notes. That's good notes.
He is a wise man right
good
there.
Notes.
A wise man. Okay, thank you guys so much for rocking with us. The great Flash Watson joining us here, star of the Premier League, and now rocking with us here, giving us World Cup action. What a great guy he is. And Jose, we've got to move quickly here through Major League Baseball. So let's roll here. I think we should switch it to a 4. Oh, I think I'd put it in 4 minutes. So let's use 4 minutes as the timer here, and we'll move quickly. And Mr. Heath says, "Walk like an Egyptian." Man, that's a great track, Mr. Heath. Now it's in my head here. Take it away. It's a great track. I'll send it to you, man. It's dope stuff, man. Dope stuff. Dope.
Okay,
Ballpark Pal is still down, but Swiggy has last night's Ballpark Pal saved, I believe. So, which is huge. So it won't be updated, but if you have that, Swiggy, that's massive for us. And he's got the added data from last night. That's beautiful. That's perfect. Sweetie, that's absolutely great. So thank you so much for doing that, Sweetie. It's money. Also, I sent the games to Swiggy. He should not take the blame for the misspelling of Columbia. That is my fault. And I blame the British Columbia Lions and me being born in British Columbia.
Sure.
And I blame myself. I can't let Swiggy take the fall for that here. So that was my fault. Okay, let's roll, Jose. Take it away. Let's roll. Let's be diligent, tight, and attack the board.
Yeah, let's be tight here because we don't have a starting pitcher for the for the Cardinals here. Doubleheader, Mizorowski pitching in the first game, it seems. So minus 175. It's up to minus 192 now at Bet Online. No pitcher for me listed on the sites, and I always have doubts about RotoWire, but they have Hunter Dobbins pitching, who's not a bad pitcher. So I don't hate the matchup. The line keeps going up. 80% of the bets, 84% of the money on the Brewers.
Yeah, it's a fishy line. You know, you would think that Mizorowski would be a bigger favorite over a AAA pitcher and Hunter Dobbins. Pig milk play of the day is in here, fresh off cashing with Belgium yesterday. In the black is pig milk. Is Washington Nationals first five money line here. But let's talk about Hunter Dobbins quickly. I do expect him to start game one. A AAA Memphis 5-1, 3.79 ERA, 1.33 WHIP, 3.94 expected ERA. That's 12 starts at AAA Memphis. In the show, he's had 2 starts. He's pitched in 4 games, 3.63 ERA, 1.39 WHIP. He has a 5.51 expected ERA, so he's being fortunate at times. 8th round pick in the 2021 draft out of Texas Tech. We last saw him actually fully start a game June 11th. The only other, he's been a primary twice, and then he started a game back on April 30th. June 11th, 4 1/3, 3 earned runs, 2 homers, 5 Ks, didn't walk about it, a 5-4 loss at the Mets. You know, this line is wild to me. I mean, you would think that there would just be this enormous advantage with Mizorowski, despite what we saw from Mizorowski in his last start. You know, allow 5 runs. I mean, now only 1 earned run, but he's not looked as dominant the last 3 starts. But you'd have to think that this would be, you know, a spot where Mizorowski would be a massive, massive favorite, and he's not really. Let's just look at the price difference here for game one. We've already heard from TJ. He's on the over 7.5 in game one. We have the Brewers minus 186 a full game. First 5 minus 214. I guess you could say that's enough, right? I mean, that's 28 cents. To put that into perspective, the Cardinals are plus 169 for the full game. And first 5, the Cardinals are plus 181. So, you know, I guess, I mean, do you feel like we're leaving money on the table, not backing this Mizorowski bounce back start, first 5 minus a half? TJ says over. Dobbins won't go deep. St. Louis isn't going to use their high leverage arms in this one. I don't see Milwaukee pushing Miz before the break. I think that makes sense. I mean, that's the reason why Hunter Dobbins is pitching in game one, and we believe it's McGreevy in game 2 because they have to throw somebody to the so-called Wolves, and that pitcher is Hunter Dobbins here. So, Jose, are we leaving money on the table, not taking the first 5 minus a half? I mean, it's minus 136. It's not a ridiculous price.
I'm more worried about leaving money on the total on the over, personally. I agree with TJ. I think Mizorowski is going to be in line to start the the All-Star game, I should say. And like I said, I don't think the Brewers want to fuck with him. So 4-5 innings, he comes out. Dobbins pitches okay, and I think we get an over in this game, but I haven't bet it. Sitting here thinking about it, though, TJ. Sitting here thinking about it.
Yeah, I think what he says makes a lot of sense. I think what he's saying makes a lot of sense that that the high leverage guys won't be used here unless Dobbins shines, which we don't really expect. Mizorowski's looked a little bit more vulnerable. I mean, what's keeping everybody else off of the Brewers first 5 minus half? Is it just too public of a spot? 80% of the tickets, 84% of the cash. And we see the line moving towards the Brewers.
Low total, but we say it's going over. So
Yeah, so low volatility, but we think it's going over. And then, so can we see what the ballpark pal had for yesterday? If we could throw it up.
yes, we can, my good sir. Because here we are.
Beautiful.
Here we go.
So Busch Stadium minus 8% runs, minus 14% homers, minus 3% doubles and triples, and plus 3% singles is not nearly as hot as it has been. And when we look at, a spot like Circa, why don't we just take a look at what Circa's done with this one? They've got this over 7.5 juice to the over. 89% of the tickets, 92% cash, just not moving. Pinnacle has a slightly juice to the over as well. 88% of the tickets, 91% of the cash on Milwaukee at minus 187. That line's not moving. Robert Cherry says he leans Brewers first 5 minus half, but he doesn't bet double headers. Robert Franklin is on the Brewers first 5 minus a half. And Rod Zweig says bet on Hunter Dobbins on the money line versus division opponents. Dobbins team record since 2025, 5-0. Jake Burns says Brewers first 5 minus 1.5 is plus 125. Well, I think that TJ and you believing in it, deciding whether to bet it. I think TJ's angle on the over 7.5 makes a lot of sense. And the Brewers first 5 minus a half makes sense. The problem is I'll have to bet it now during the show. And I probably should bet it here. Turnbuckle Tommy says they already said they're going to watch Miz's pitch count. I'll be surprised to see him go past 5. He's not pitching in the All-Star game. What do you mean? Is he not pitching in the All-Star game? I thought he was starting the All-Star game.
I don't think anything's been decided, but I anticipate him being selected to start at the All-Star game.
Yeah, same here. Okay, so the over 7.5, and I guess I should probably move on this Brewers first 5 minus a half now. Let's set up game 2 while I'm figuring out how to handle this.
Yeah, game 2. Neither side has any pitchers announced, so that's not ideal. RotoWire, I can tell you, has Gasser, McGreevy.
Yeah.
Again, how much do I believe that? I don't know, but we'll see. We have. Is there a market for the second game? There probably is not. 80. I have bet percentages here, but again, take these with a grain of salt with no pitchers listed. 90% of the bets, 87% of the money. Milwaukee here, but not much information on this game. The line allegedly is minus 135 right now, bet online without any pitchers. So obviously that just means that Miz is not pitching in that game. So I have no action in this game, Jim. What do you think?
John Bender also heard the rumors that he's out for the All-Star game. Why would this be a minus 125 at Bet365 Brewers first 5 minus a half? Shouldn't it? I mean, am I just walking into a trap? I'd
rather have Mitch McGreevy than Robert Gasser pitching, I guess.
I'm talking game 1.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's my fault. We're talking about game 2, so you have a right to think that. But that's just.
Is it minus 135 first 5? That's pretty surprising.
Minus 125. First 5 minus a half, minus 125 for that game 1.
That does indeed feel like a trap. But, I guess we need pitchers officially confirmed, but I agree. That does seem very trappish.
Now, I feel a little bit better, and I'm sorry we're still talking about the first game here, but I feel a little bit better seeing the minus 136 at Penny. So it's an 11-cent difference there. I think I should move on both of these spots now. I'm going to send them both in here. So I'm going to take the Brewers first 5 minus a half, minus 125. I'm also going to take the over 7.5 minus 115. I could get minus 113 if I was liquid here. So GeoBed says, yes, Rod said to bet against the Brewers, so it's a trap. Okay, well, we'll see. Hope the trap has Coors and Hennessy. So yes, game 2. Let's get into game 2 here for the spot. I think it's going to be Gasser versus McGreevy. I think we also want to see what bullpen pieces are used here as we decide and negotiate, how we want to handle game 2. We do know that both bullpens have been pitching, really well. The Gasser, of course, has looked quite a bit stronger, but he's not pitching often. It was 8 days off between his start on June 21st and start on June 29th. So he's not pitching a ton. McGreevy has this expected ERA so high. It's wild. Still 11 quality starts out of 17 starts. And he's just so consistent here. So I feel like there's an advantage with McGreevy over Gasser, but to what extent? And then we have, of course, the Cards hitting lefties versus the Brewers versus righties. Brewers are raking righties. So let's just see what happens in game one and then act accordingly. But if the Brewers end up using important arms, will we look to McGreevy in game two with the Cards high leverage arms as TJ was discussing here? So Turnbuckle Tommy says what concerns me is Miz had the 107 pitch game and then we saw him get hit in the second game and get pulled. I don't think they risk leaving him to get hit up again. You nailed that breakdown with the 107 pitch outing. We see these pitchers take it personally. And, Sharpie sent me a great thing on Schlittler taking it personally, that everyone was saying, oh, he's a regression candidate, and then he shoves. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens and Rod Zawacki will be on the Cards money line in game one. So let's roll on. Let's roll on here. But I'm going to wait for game two. I would like, if Milwaukee handles business in game one, I would be very interested back in McGreevy and the Cardinals in game two. Jose, let's roll on to our next spot on the board.
Cubs Orioles, next game on our board. Shane Baz versus Matthew Boyd here. Matthew Boyd, is he coming back from it? I feel like this is the first time I'm seeing Matthew Boyd pitching fucking forever here. In his last appearance,
he came back. This will be his third start since going on the IL for a meniscus injury. Then he dealt with shoulder soreness during rehab.
Yep, he's pitched well in his first two his first two starts back. 5 innings, 3 earned runs, not the best, but against the Padres team whose offense is actually pretty bad this year. Maybe an indictment. 4 2/3 shutty versus the Mets, not too bad there. You'll take that. Baz up and down, up and down, up and down. Again, we've talked about this many times, but it's always worrisome when the Rays trade you. 7 innings, 2 earned runs against the White Sox team that's good this year is solid. 5 innings, 5 earned runs against the Angels is terrible. 7-3 versus the Mariners, you'll take. Just a lot of up and down for me, and I don't know what to make of old Shane Baz here for this year. Minus 122 opener for the Cubs, is now minus 110. It quickly got down here, was minus 122 yesterday, and it got down to 12 at midnight, and now minus 110 for the Cubs here. Market information here. We have 63% of the bets on the Cubs, but 92% of the money on the Baltimore Orioles here. Wow. What'd you think?
I think it's extremely fishy. I don't know why the Orioles would open up at plus 111. This is a situation where I would imagine every single model would tell you that there's value on the Orioles at plus 111. So why'd they open it there? You could say, well, the Cubs are 10 games over 500 overall, and the Orioles are 7 games under 500. But Cubs on the road are 2 games over 500. The Orioles at home are a game over 500. This just doesn't make sense. And so when this is something that's been working for us this year, I miss, I see wine time on the Orioles. I miss capping with him a lot. And I would love to ask him now, like, did you think that plus 111 made sense? Or is that a situation that's asking for cappers, just opening up their arms to Baz? I mean, Baz is pitching very well. He's pitching at home. Look at his last 2 earned runs over 7 innings at home versus the White Sox. The start before that, 2 earned runs over 5 innings at home versus the Padres. The home start before that, 1 earned run over 7 innings at home versus the Rays. So why would it open up plus 111? I just, you're opening at a line, ensuring that everybody will bet the Orioles. And sure enough, that's what's happened. So my first instinct immediately was to bet the Orioles. Immediately. So at that point, everybody else, I imagine, we talk about, I've been having long conversations, not in this past week, but a couple weeks back with Justin about, are we just seeing a public spot before the public? And if we are, like, that just jumped out at me. It was the first thing that jumped out at me on the card. Obviously, it was the 3rd game in a row, but of course the Orioles are plus 111. Of course so I think that I should put my money where my mouth is and bet the Cubs, because the issue and the reason why the only thing, so the Orioles bullpen's been so much better than the Cubs. The only issue is that the Orioles are not hitting lefties. 235, 681 OPS over the last 30 days. Sharpie says left-handed pitchers versus Baltimore last 2 weeks. Lodolo, Alvarez, Griffin, Noah Schultz got hit. I picked on Baltimore with lefties all year. It's not even the good ones. Rod Zawacki says, who said everyone is betting the Orioles? We just have 92% of the cash on the Orioles. That's all. That's all that we were intimating there. So I think I should put my money where my mouth is. Taint play of the day here is on the Cubs. And again, I would just love to talk this out with Wine Time and hear what he has to say. I'm not saying that his action on Orioles is bad. It's just this would be the question I would pose to him. And I pose it to you, Jose. I mean, do you think that this is the right opening line, or is this a situation where they know they're going to get a ton of Orioles cash?
I don't know. Honestly, that's a great question. I have no idea. I thought minus 120 was fair for the Cubs, but
sure, minus 120 plus 100, maybe, but they didn't open it there. They opened it at plus 111.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why you think that. I don't have a firm opinion, honestly, either way.
Well, TJ's on the Cubs, and we have Stacks. Sorry, it's not Stacks. Excuse me. We have Taint play of the day on the Cubs as well. Okay, I'm going to switch over to our thing. It might change our. Okay, no, it didn't. Beautiful. It did. It did change. So if you could fix that, sorry about that. We have Taint is in, and there's double Taint. So there we go. We have Taint on the Cubs here, and I'm going to join. I have in capitals. Why did this open at plus 111? And question mark. It just didn't make any sense to me, and I don't care that the lines moved slightly towards the Orioles. Of course, it has. I mean, do you think there's manipulation going on? And I say yes. I'm going to move on the Cubs here. And I do believe that every single model at plus 111, every single model would tell you to bet the Orioles. And that's why I think the Cubs should be bet. Jose, let's roll on Athletics Tigers.
Athletics Tigers. I have a sneeze coming, and it's not coming out yet. So let's see when it does. JT Ginn versus Tarek Skubal here. Skubal, who knows where he is in his pitching days. There we go. With the Detroit Tigers. Jimmy, as of right now, do you expect him to get traded?
No, I don't. I think they would love to trade him if they could get a huge haul back for him, but they're going to be, I don't know if they're going to get enough for him with the loose bodies and the elbow and all that stuff. He's put together a ton of innings. Last year threw another 195 in the third. If they could get something for him, it'd be great. But this is, we watched the Guardians make the playoffs and have a worse record than the Tigers do after 90 games. The Tigers could turn this around and become a problem in the Central. So I honestly don't think he's traded. I think they want to trade him. Who's got the biggest haul? I mean, can you imagine Junior Caminero as a Los Angeles Angel?
Yep, I'm sure Wine Time thinks about that frequently.
Well, he's an absolute monster. I mean, I just think that they're honestly, I think the value is trading these guys at this point in this type of situation. But if the Tigers think they can win the Central, maybe they don't. Billy Friedrich says Skubal to the Dodgers. If they can get huge return for him, yes, I think they should trade him. But keep rolling, my man.
Yeah, well, you guys know where I want him to go. Number one farm system in baseball, the Milwaukee Brewers. Would be nice. Interesting home road splits for Skubal. Ginn, I like a lot. I think he's going to be a quality pitcher as well, Jimmy. You can go ahead and mark him down as the young pitchers that we like. I believe in JT Ginn here. Now, do I expect him to pitch well and go pitch for pitch against Tarek Skubal, against an A's team that's been playing really bad recently? That's a little bit tough. 89% of the bets are on Skubal, but 71% of the money is on the A's here, which is fascinating. 67 on the under, 63% of the money on the over, for those who are wondering. So I'm fascinated to see what happens here. I'm staying off this game. I do kind of lean under, though, I will admit, but the money on the over will keep me off of it. What did you think about this one, Jimmy?
Well, I mean, I think Ginn can I mean, look at Ginn's road record. I mean, he's just been a beast all year long. I mean, this is a wonderful opportunity for Ginn to go up against Skubal here. I'm looking at the Tigers at minus 191 full game, minus 209 first 5. So that has changed. There was, last night when we were breaking down the lines, there was a real thought that Ginn might be sneaky, first 5 plus a half. I'd like just to see what kind of line movement we've had on the first 5 here. 30 cents at Bet Online, minus 180 to minus 210. I mean, that's just a huge move here. Just a huge move. TJ says Ginn got away with the Dodgers game. His xFIP was over 6 in that one with 5 walks. Turnbuckle Tommy says A's numbers versus left-hand pitching will be mostly in hitter-friendly conditions. I think both pitchers, Shavir, loving the under. Sharpie says this projected lineup for the A's, I'm going to be on Skubal case for the 3rd week in a row. We have reverse split, smash spot when a team tries to ambush Skubal with bad ZC zone contact since 2025. 6 games, nothing less than 10 Ks. So, wow, that's and so this is the move that hasn't happened in the Mizorowski start. Wonder if I have fallen in for a trap in that one. Here, that's a big 30-cent move towards the Tigers. First 5 minus a half is the same price as Mizorowski here. Turnbuckle Tommy is the over 8.5 Ks at plus 130. Let's go over Ginn's last road start. So he walks 5 batters, but does allow just 1 earned run in 6 innings at home versus the Dodgers in his last start. But let's go with road starts. At the Angels, 3 earned runs over 6 innings. He's faced the Angels in back-to-back starts. That's not easy. Last start before that on the road, 1 earned run over 6 innings at the Cubs. Let's go. So one thing that we discussed last night was how the first 3 line for the Skeen start was insane. It was 40 or 30 to 40 cents off of what I thought it would be. It was, barely juiced.
What's the first 3 line have to say here? Total, our guy TJ is asking.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's why I'm coming to check, because we went over all these first 3 lines, and I found it very, very helpful. The first 3 here is minus 135 to the under. Now, that's if it's an 8 or 8.5 at a pick'em, you would say it should be around minus 120. Minus 135 to the under is, it's not. Let's compare it. To the Warren Seymour start or the Meyer Wu start. Let's go Warren Seymour. It's a similar line. It's juiced to the under though. We go to the first 3, Warren and Seymour, and the first 3 is just a minus 120. That's a surprise here with 8 juice to the under. The other one we would look at is Meyer and Wu. The first 3 under is minus 140 in Max Meyer, Brian Wu. Matty I says Skubal not pitching the All-Star game is going to be huge here. He goes far. Skubal strikeouts and outs over are probably the best bet in this game. Rods White says bet under the total in Detroit home games after 2 straight games where they committed no errors. Under's record during 2026 season 14-4. I would think this would be a 7.5 here if it was going to go under. Can you pop up the Ballpark Pal? Again, Ballpark Pal's down, so we have yesterday's Ballpark Pal information here. So it's plus 1% runs, minus 5% homers, plus 6% doubles, triples, plus 3% singles. Well, I'm going to need more time on this game. This isn't making anything easier. There's some spots on this card I think are very easy. This one, I don't really feel easy. Look Jimmy, at that. Yeah, Stacks. Sorry, just quickly. Stacks play today's Tigers A's over 8 for the Stacks play today. God, was my, Stacks play today was the storm. I went up against Stack play today and looked like a complete clown last night. It was such a bad, such a bad cap. I mean, one of the worst caps I've had all year, and I was pretty confident in it. Just trash on the Sparks. A shout out to Stacks here. Stacks over 8 minus 112. Stacks. I think this would be a 7.5. Don't you think this? Okay, a ballpark pals back up. Sweet, thank you for that. Oh, I got saying. So I'm a little surprised that it's sitting here at an 8. Honestly, so who would then be vulnerable? And it's probably Ginn, but Ginn's not showing that he's vulnerable, and this is a pretty exciting start for him. So I'm going to need more time with this one. I'm ready to roll on.
Okay, Braves, Pirates. Next on our board here, and I agree with Sharpie what he put in the chat here. I think all of these young pitchers are going to be leashed up in this start before the All-Star break. Nothing too funny. I expect Paul Skeens to to pitch in the All-Star game. Maybe he decides he doesn't want to do it again because he's over it, but I think he'll be there once again and doing the whole media thing because he is a young star in this league. Now, Jimmy, let's talk about a guy that I wrote down in my book of pitchers to start off this season, Hurston Waltrip. I wrote him down. I was like, this guy is the guy. He is the next Spencer Strider to come out of the Braves. And in classic Spencer Strider fashion, he starts the season with an injury. Comes back 7-2, which is July 7th, or July 2nd, I should say. 5 1/3, 3 earned runs against the St. Louis Cardinals. Kind of a mass start. But I believe in Hurston Waltrip. He is a guy that I will be hopefully backing for years to come. He had a bullpen appearance as well. 2 innings, a clean ball against the Giants. And his minor league numbers, 4 1/3, 2 runs, 5 Ks, 2 walks, 3 innings clean, but 1 K, 4 walks that day. Not good. 3 1/3, 4 hits, or 4 earned runs, 3 Ks, no walks, 4 Ks, 3 walks, and two walks, no strikeouts in his first one. So it's fascinating to see how that goes. You guys know that I look at strikeout to walk numbers heavily in those rehab starts. I want to back him. I do. But is it right here in the start? I kind of wanted to get him his feet a little more wet into the season. First 5 Braves definitely was something I was looking at and thinking about. Jimmy, what did you think about this matchup?
Sharpie says first 5 still -175, money line -149. I mean, we talked about it. There's been a 10-cent move to the under for 3, but I don't think that matters. It was, I don't care. Like, it was so cheap last night at -125. It was shocking. And then we've had this big line. Well, I wouldn't say big move, but a legit move, +152 to +145 for Atlanta here, which is a surprise. Oh, that's first 5. Excuse me. That's first 5. Huh. So
first 5 move towards Atlanta, you said?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I think I'll put my money where my mouth is with Hurston here. Again, I'm putting my flag down early, and he is one of my guys. I was excited to bet on him in the preseason. Like I said, he gets hurt immediately in classic fashion, but I'll be on Braves first 5 plus a half, -105.
What up, Chang, my man? Why wouldn't you just take the full game? We have a huge bullpen advantage, even though the Braves bullpen hasn't looked good over the last 5 games or so, but 2.81 ERA, 1.18 whip. Why are you so focused on the Waltrip Skeens situation when we've seen this massive move on the full game?
That's a good point. I could see that. I mean, you could see obviously the Pirates bullpen has been good as of late, but I still generally will trust the Braves bullpen, who, again, I don't believe in the Braves bullpen all that much either. We've talked about that. That's just a me thing. Their numbers are pretty good. So I hear you on that. I don't hate that at all. I haven't bet it yet officially, so I could easily bet full game.
I think that we're just forced here to bet the Braves. I mean, 70% of the tickets on the Pirates and 30% of the cash. I understand the first 5 or first 3 plus a half, but that massive line here, it's just a massive line is moved full game. Now there's been a slight move first 5, but the massive move is full game. So I'm going to.
I'll say this.
Yeah.
I'll say this for the Braves bullpen situation. Just wanted to go look at it. Rafael Iglesias, 25 pitches, blown save. This is yesterday. Dylan Lee, 19 pitches. Tyler Kinley, 16 pitches and through the day before. Didier Fuentes, 23 pitches. I don't expect any of those guys to be available. Not Rafael Iglesias either after 25 pitches and a blow save, maybe, but again, I don't know if I love that. The guys that are left in the bullpen that haven't thrown, Dylan Dodd, who threw 16 pitches on Sunday. Danny Young, 18 pitches on Sunday. J.R. Ritchie is now in the bullpen for the Braves, but he threw 46 pitches on Saturday, so he's not going to go. And Owen Murphy, who threw 20 pitches yesterday. So this bullpen is pretty taxed, and we're probably going to get back-to-back pitching days from guys like, Didier Fuentes and Rafael Iglesias, who've thrown 20-plus pitches already and don't make you feel great about that. For the Pirates pitching situation, just to look it over real quick, they're clean, basically. Off day yesterday, 16 pitches and a back-to-back for Dennis Santana, Mason Montgomery back-to-back. Maybe they don't throw again today, but they all had an off day yesterday. So that's the worry when it comes to the bullpen there, which admittedly does make me want to bet first 5 again.
What's the Pirates bullpen scenario?
Everyone's clean. Monday, day off. So I think everyone should be available, but their 2 top guys threw back-to-back days on Saturday and Sunday, but everyone had a day off yesterday.
Troy Torrance hammering the first 3 and first 5 unders. The first 3 under, Troy, to me last night was an insane number. I thought it was at least at a minimum 20 cents off of what it should be. Minus 125 to the under and a Skeen start. I've never seen that in the history of Skeen starts. So there's Rod loves the under though here. The first 3 under, there's just, as I've been, now again, none of this is written in stone and it's not a black and white thing, but the number was insane to me. There's zero chance that I could possibly bet the first 3 under in this one. It was just being offered at minus 125. Look, his 1.5s were, plus 110, plus 105. And Troy said Skeen's last start, first 3 and first 5 were high. It's just the way I work. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't bet it. The line was insane to me. It's moved 10 cents since then. It should have been at least minus 145 last night. So it is a big surprise. I mean, the Wu Meyer first 3's more expensive. I mean, if we look at comparisons, it just doesn't make sense to me. So, I think that I want to follow the market here. The market has moved 5 cents away from Skeen's. I think you're right about the bullpen, but look how massive this move is towards Atlanta. It's just such a massive move here. I'll
say it. Put my flag down. Hurston Waltrip will be not too far behind Paul Skeens as a pitcher in the next coming years.
Well, look, he looked phenomenal last year. 2.88 ERA, 1.19 WHIP. So, I mean, he was a monster. Last year, he allowed 3 home runs and 56 in the third.
First 5 plus a half official for me, by the way, minus 105.
All right, let's roll on. I think the massive move full game is what I should. But you brought up some very good points. Let's roll on here. I don't want to sit here and hum and haw, or hem and haw, I should say. But I need to. Let's roll on. But I hear it. This is a massive move against Skeens, and we should probably follow it. Let's roll on.
All right, let's roll on here to Yankees Rays. AL East in the balance here, and the Yankees pitching depth is starting to fall apart a little bit here, which is one of the reasons why I think they could go far this year. Will Warren versus Ian Seymour on the bump here. 51 now. 51% of the money or of the bets on Tampa Bay, 95% of the money on Tampa Bay, 51 and 95 on the Tampa Bay Rays there. Pretty excessive there. A lot of money on them here. 53 and 91 on the over in this game too. Market in this game has not really moved much. Minus 115 is now minus 117 for the Rays. So not really that much with all that money on them is a little worrisome. Minus 120 opener at Bovada is now minus 124. Jim, what'd you think?
I think that Ian Seymour is stepping up. Watching the game last night, Griffin Jacks was unhittable for 4 innings, and then he kind of slipped up. But here, Ian Seymour, if you look at his statistical profile, I think it's sort of tricky to line him appropriately. He's been okay this year, 4.02 ERA. He's got a 1.09 WHIP. But then you look deeper, and he's got the 3.33 expected ERA. Since he's been stretched out, he's been a monster. He started on June 8th, and this guy is just, he looks so good to me. The only time that he allowed more than 2 earned runs was against the team that's destroying lefties in the Washington Nationals, and they're not quite at this point. The elephant in the room here for me is just that the Yankees aren't hitting lefties. 225, 656 OPS. And then look at Matty Ice saying, Taint play today is the Rays. Seymour at home is an animal. Will Warren is pitching very mediocre. And on the road, he's not looked very good. His last road start, 5 earned runs, 5 2/3 versus the Red Sox. The road start, before that, 2 earned runs, only threw 4 innings at the Blue Jays. 3 earned runs over 4 1/3 at the Guardians. So there's the last 3 road starts have looked not very good. He's not a bad pitcher, but I do think that they found something in Seymour, the Rays. So Taint play of the day. He's already given you the Cubs. He's also on the Rays. I moved on the Rays early, first 3 and first 5. I do fear the Yankees bullpen. The first 3 was really expensive. Really, really expensive. The Rays' first 3 was 20 cents more than the Marlins' first 3, which caught me by surprise. Rod Zwacky says Warren has found his baseball, and Seymour Butts is getting touched. Says hate going against it. Taint, but he is on the New York Yankees. Says bet on the Yankees and road games on the money line versus Nail starting pitchers. Whip is 1.1 or better. New York's record during the 2026 season 8-0. I wonder what that stat would look like if it was just lefties. Warbucks, Yankees 3-1 is no way, dog. So look, I'm first 3, first 5 Rays. I believe I have an advantage with Seymour over Warren. I believe I know I have an advantage with the sticks. Tampa Bay Rays versus a righty against the Yankees versus a lefty. I think that's enough of an advantage for me. Where do I have a disadvantage? In the bullpen. But if I'm first 3 and first 5, the bullpen doesn't come into play. So I'm in business here. First 3, first 5 Rays, Jose. Let's roll.
All right, let's roll on to Mariners Marlins here. And seeing the Marlins favored is admittedly a little surprising to me. But, man, hottest team in baseball right now. And like you said, Jimmy, your favorite pitcher in all of baseball pitching today, old Brian Wu. Look at the home road splits. Just look at them. 2 on at home, 6 on the road here. There's not much to say other than that. And Max Meyer has been the best pitcher on the Marlins with a staff that includes Yuri Perez and Sandy Alcantara. Man, if the Red Sox and the Marlins are in the same boat right now, and I really hope the Marlins can find some hitting in the trade deadline. Go get some bats and make this a little more interesting for your fans here. But Marlins, for me, I agree wholeheartedly. I want to bet the Marlins too.
Until I think that it's difficult somewhat for the books and for models to really place Brian Wu right now because of these extreme splits. As long as he's going to be the most predictable pitcher in Major League Baseball, I don't think we should put too much analysis into it. And I know that sounds insane because that's all we do is break down games. A shout out to our guy Cameron Sinnott in the house in 1999 dono to bless our action. Thank you, Cam, my man. Much love, man. You having our back all the time means a ton to us. Cameron Sinnott with the dono. Brian Wu, the splits are insane. They're absolutely insane. That he would be this horrific on the road and this magical at home is. And again, we only have Tyler Mahle is the only example of this that I can remember that's this extreme and this predictable. And that was 3 years ago. We're so lucky. And I'm just going to keep making money off of it until it stops. It's not hard for me to back Max Meyer. You guys know I've been a huge, huge believer in him, 3rd overall pick just a couple of years ago. The way he handled the bereavement list and coming back and shoving, and then he got touched up in a 6-3 loss at the Rockies in the thin air of Colorado. I mean, I think you can make excuse for that. By the way, TJ says if you want the under 8 in Tampa, bet it now, says our friend TJ. It was initially something I wanted. And Rob Free says fade Wu on the road, don't overthink it. Look, until the glory train stops, we just simply fade him and fade him and fade him on the road and back him and back him and back him at home, and we thank him after each game. So it was pretty easy for me. I got the Marlins first 3 and first 5. The question was, why was it so cheap, man? So cheap. So that made me really nervous that it was this cheap. The first 3 here for the Marlins. Oh, it's now minus 125. Okay, good. First 3, I got the Marlins at minus 115 before. So that's a nice move, 10-cent move. That's helpful. And then the first 5, I got at minus 118. And that's readily available for anybody who wants it. Let me just move over and see the price difference here. This is the price difference for the Marlins full game. First 5, minus 122 full game. And first 5, just minus 121. So look, this market is very concerning. Flea and Low Key says Mariners in my books went to even. Does that mean everyone's betting the Mariners money line? It's the opposite. Everybody's betting the Marlins, which makes me nervous, but I'm comfortable with it. Deacon Mike, and now it's great to see you, Deacon. So, and look at that. TJ's got first 5 Miami at minus 133. The book he respects. Wow, that makes me much, much more. I got minus 118. But look, this is simple. Let's just keep it simple, stupid. Let's just what's been working for us over and over and over again until it stops working. We should just keep hammering it. So I have for 2 units.
Okay, we roll on to Nationals Astros here. The red hot Nationals who can hit the shit out of the ball versus Tetsuya in my Andrew Alvarez on the other side here. 65% of the bet, 61% of the money on the Nationals. Little World Series rematch for us here. We have minus 110 opener gone up to minus 120, minus 122 at some places. So the love for the Nationals is real. And like I said, 65 and 61 on Andrew Alvarez here. I kind of agree. It's Nationals or nothing for me. What'd you think?
Well, rain is a big problem in this game. So let's take a look at the weather right now because it pretty much just stopped me from making moves here. Let's go walk because I like these pitchers a lot. I think we can attack them. The storms are subsided. Oh, look, and it's gonna. But the rain showers are gonna start near the end of the game. Should be fine though. At least you want the. So things have changed quite a bit now. It's just gonna be light rain, which should stop at first pitch. That's all very comforting here. Oh, Dobbins has been officially named the starter as well. And shout out to Nasty Nate says Pubapalooza much needed. I agree. Well, we have our own little not mini Pubapalooza. We have a Pubapalooza afternoon at Woodbine coming up on August 22nd. Anybody wants to join us, please rock with us. Let me know, though. I need to make reservations at the Stella Artois Lounge. But here, so now this is helpful. So now this game looks like it's definitely going to start on time now. The thunderstorms that we thought were going to be there are gone. Nasty Nate, we'll see if we can get a meetup before next year's Pubapalooza because we all need it. I agree. Okay, sure, Robert Cherry. Yeah, I won't. I don't want to mention it until it's up here. But you know me. I spoke to you about it initially. As soon as it's up, we'll be very. We'll promote it. We'll be a big part of it. But let's just wait till it's up so that we can send links and have links and all that stuff. So, but you know, we want to support it badly. But back to Andrew Alvarez here. I like Andrew Alvarez. I like the way he can get strikeouts when you need him to. It feels like he's pitching better and better and better. Now, he's not going deep in the games. They clearly don't want him to see a lineup a third time, but that's fine. That's fine. When we talk about, what we're getting from Tatsuya Amai, I like Tatsuya Amai. And, he got lit up and smoked over an inning and a third. Last time he got lit up and smoked, he came back with a quality start, struck out 11, didn't walk a batter. And the 2 starts following that terrible start on June 12th, he struck out 21 over 2 appearances. So I think this isn't a bad time to back Tatsuya Amai. And one of the reasons why I thought that was, why was the first 5 the same price as the full game for the Nats? Now, let's see if that's changed, but that made no sense to me whatsoever. You have a Nats bullpen, 5.74 ERA, 1.57 whip, and the Astros bullpen's been the best in the league over the last month. So you would think that there would be a big difference in the price. So the fact that there was no difference told me a lot about what to expect from Amai. Let's see if that's changed. The Nats are minus 116 full game, and first 5 they're minus 133 now. So that's changed. So that was not. It just made no sense to me. Now it's funny because when I see something that makes no sense, I don't want anything to do with it. But others saw an advantage, and now we see the books respecting it. So that's going to kind of take me off of that. But I think these pitchers can pitch okay here. Can you put up? Oh, I have Ballpark Pal here. I need to pull up Ballpark Pal here for National Spark. Plus 13% runs, plus 14% homers, plus 14% doubles and triples, plus 4% singles. So that is, somewhat uncomfortable. Let's take a look at the first 3 under, which is, I would, if there had been no difference between the first 5 and the full game, I would be on Amai, but I'm not going to here. The first 3 under is 2.5 at plus 105, a 2.5 at plus 105 with a 9 juice to the over. That's pretty low. That's pretty low. Shout out to Schnizzle in the house. Great to see you, man. I think that the first 3 under should be in play. The Astros cannot hit lefties at all. I was astonished there was no difference in the first 5 full game. I'm not going to move on it now that the books finally have made a difference to it, because why would they have opened it up in the first place with no difference when we know how bad Nats bullpen is? So I'm not looking for Alvarez first 5. But we know that the Astros aren't hitting lefties at all. The Nats are hitting righties, and I think Amai bounces back. So I'm interested in this first 3 under. I'll get a first 3 under 3. I like it. So let's roll on. So that I think the first 3 under 3 is the move for me here. I think Amai bounces back, and the Astros don't hit lefties, and I don't want anything to do with the Nats bullpen.
Okay, let's roll on. We have Royals Mets, another World Series rematch here today. We've got Seth Lugo versus undecided. Does anyone else have a pitcher? I have no pitchers listed yet for them. 60% of the bets, 94% of the money on the Mets with no pitcher here. The Royals have been really bad this year. 3 cents of movement towards the Mets. But Jimmy, do you have an idea of who's pitching today for the Mets?
Yeah. I think there's an opener, and then it's Kodai Senga. I think it's crucial that we know that for sure, because I think that it's the Mets are extremely sneaky here, and if it is opener to Kodai Senga, it's an extremely sneaky spot. Why would the Mets be this big of a favorite? Especially if everybody believes that Senga is a primary today. Why would the Mets be this big a favorite? It makes no sense whatsoever against Seth Lugo. And if you're talking about one line that makes no sense, out of every line in this card, it's that the Mets are minus 142 full game, and minus 143 first 5. So they're saying so I need opener and Senga to be out front, so everybody sees Senga, and then we got to see what happens with the market movement. But this is just an astonishing spot. Nutflush has a big bet on the under in this one. I think that makes a lot of sense. We have 58% of tickets on the over and 87% of cash on the over. And then 60% of the tickets and 94% of the cash on the Mets. It just feels like somebody knows something. Oh, they just moved Dobbins to game 2. Now it's wow. Okay, now it's Swanson, an opener in game 1. Huh. Wow. Okay. Well, I've got to go. So then I sent it in with my local, so that will be voided. I didn't put it out on X at this point. Thank you for sharing that with us. So look, this is nuts to me. And I really think it should be taken advantage of, but I think that we need Senga listed for everybody to see. And if this line doesn't change, he's obviously going to pitch really well here. Why would the books be giving you Seth Lugo at such a big plus price? It truly does not make any sense here. I would imagine that every single capper, when they see Senga, will be on the Royals, every single one of them, which is why we zag after a zig. So, also, Rod's Wax says bet under the total. The Kansas City road games after scoring 8 runs or more on this record since 2025. And I told you, Not Flush Allen has already hammered the under in this one. So if I think that Senga is actually going to pitch well, I think that the under should also be bet, which is, fine. And also, the first 3 under, but I've got to study that a little more. I think the main thing to take on this, because we've seen this total go from 8 to 8.5. The main thing to take away from this is the fact that Senga is so expensive. That's lunacy. And the books aren't idiots. They're setting up a line where they know everybody will bet the Royals. So it's going to be Mets early here. And I'm curious to see what happens with this line on the total, as we know Nutflush has already made that big bet on the under. And also keep an eye when Nutflush goes up against market moves, man. This guy just crushes. But it's going to be a first 5 spot, I believe. I just want Senga to be listed. So let's roll on, my man.
Phillies Reds next on our board here. Again, another matchup where I'm looking for starters here. We got Zach Wheeler officially?
I mean, it's we've thought it was Wheeler versus Abbott the whole time. Is there any reason to not think that?
I have UDC on some of my books here, and it's obviously not on screen, so it feels like we might be losing Zach Wheeler here. I don't know.
The books have Wheeler and Abbott listed.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll stick with that then. Minus 160 is now minus 171 for Zach Wheeler here. We have 82% of the bets, 90% of the money on the Phillies here, 60 and 89 on the under. 60% of the bets on the under, 89% of the money on the over in this game. Jimmy, what do you think? Zach Wheeler's been dominant, but I'm fascinated to watch what Andrew Abbott does here. And the Phillies have been really good. So in the last few months.
And it's the Mets, GeoBed, but we really, really want Senga to be listed as the primary so the public sees it, and then we want to see what the move is from that point. This is a fascinating situation. Why was it moving so quickly towards the over? I couldn't understand why that was in this spot. Now we've moved a full run to the over.
It makes you feel like that Wheeler's not pitching, but the books have him listed, and if he is pitching and this total's going over like that, then yeah.
It's absolutely wild. Also, under has 60% of the tickets, but 90% of the cash is on the over. It sort of feels like, Nasty Nate, we just had a pitching change in game 1. So it's now Swanson an opener. So we're gonna have to kind of relook it, but both my bets are now voided. So I didn't post them up on X. So I don't need to worry about that. We've got to figure out who the primary is and kind of read. What we'll do is I'll go back to it at the end of the show here because we only have Jose for 8 more minutes. So this heavy move towards the over is insane. It would make sense. You're right if they say, look, it's not Wheeler, but 365 is all the props up. Bet Online has both pitchers listed. So I think that's the case. So then the question is, what is the price difference? Are the books kind of giving us a hint that one of these 2 pitchers are vulnerable? So we have here the Phillies are minus 164 full game. First 5 are minus 160. So why on earth are the Sharps on the over? mean, it's probably something that we should. Okay, TJ, yeah, let me know, man. Text me. This just to me sounds. What, Jose? Can you? So the explanation you would have is that it's not Wheeler or Abbott. What if it is Wheeler or Abbott?
And then I would bet the over. Yeah, it makes you feel like that, and the book's already listing Wheeler, so it's like
now maybe it's just weather. I mean, plus 20% runs at Great American Ballpark, plus 18% homers, plus 15% doubles and triples, and plus 4% singles. Yeah. Shout out to our guy Michael Piccioni in the house, always supporting us. Thank you so much for the dono, Michael, my man. Means a ton to us. So shout out to our friend Michael Piccioni backing us up here. Deacon says Philly's offense being inconsistent, and Robert Franklin says the game's been taken off the book. Turnbuckle Tommy says the under 9 is my favorite play on the board. Says Phillies cannot hit left-handed pitching and they cannot hit on the road. So why on earth would it be a 9, Tommy? I mean, look, we're not dealing with idiots. So, but I get, if this was a 9 last night, we would be like, what the hell is going on? This makes no sense. We would have just been flabbergasted. So, again, Tommy, is this the first thing that jumps out at you? Because if this was a 9, it would be the very first thing that jumped out at me. Not the price of the Orioles being plus 111. It would be this. How could this be a 9? It would be the first thing that would jump out at me. I mean, the public's on the under and huge bets are coming in on the over. I mean, but let's roll on here. I love these two pitchers. I expect them to both be able to deal with this offensive weather, but the books are saying that's not the case. So, GeoBed also going to move on that under 9. So we have GeoBed and Tommy on that under 9. I mean, if this closes at a 9, I will be on the other side of that. I'll have to respect the fact that this is such a high number. Let's roll, Jose.
Let's roll on here. And if this is our last breakdown together for the day, Jimmy, it is serendipitous that it is Red Sox, White Sox here. Man, this Red Sox team is the most annoying one in my years of watching the Red Sox because they have one of the best pitching staffs in baseball, Jimmy, and they cannot hit anything. Noah Schultz versus Peyton Tolley today here. And you were very into this line coming into this show. I'm fascinated to see what your breakdown is today. I'm going to refresh my site here because I have a minus 130 opener for Peyton Tolley. Now down to minus 118. It did get down to 17, but yeah, minus 118 is what we're sitting at now. And just for my sake, out of curiosity, first 5 here, minus 135. It's still minus 135 for the Red Sox there, minus 145 at Bovada. So interesting, full game line moving. First 5 line not moving. Market in this game, we have 71% of the bets and 94% of the money on your Boston Red Sox here, Jimmy. What'd you think?
Well, look, this line is extremely surprising. And so, we talked about it last night, how the Red Sox are just a must bet. And so what was the most surprising part of this line here to me was the price difference first 5 full game. I think Noah Schultz, obviously we know how highly he's thought of as a prospect. He's one of the top prospects in Major League Baseball here, 6'10", 22-year-old already in the majors. And what he did in AAA Charlotte was spectacular. He got off to a really good start, and then the right knee patellar tendonitis got to him. He's going to have issues, at 6'10". But here, the price difference is massive. The Red Sox are minus 118 a full game. First 5, they're minus 133. I couldn't help myself. I moved on the Red Sox first 3 and first 5. The biggest difference in this game is the Red Sox ability to hit lefties and the White Sox all of a sudden not hitting lefties at all. So it's a first 3, first 5 Red Sox. Troy also on the Red Sox first 5. TJ gave us the Red Sox as the play of the day here. Red Sox money line. By the way, also Pig Milk is the Nats first 5 money line. I meant to talk about that when we were in the Nats game, but I will at the end of the show. But Nats first 5 backing Alvarez is pig milk. Look, there was just advantages, clear advantages here, and the expectation of a bounce back performance by Tolley, the books expecting it, and now we have 94% of the cash on the Red Sox. That is a concern. This has moved against the Red Sox 7 cents. At this point, I'm really happy that I focused on the first 3 and the first 5 because that full game's looking a little bit treacherous with all the money on the Red Sox and the line moving away from them. TJ says Schultz has no control. Came back and walked 4 again. Boston just drew 7 walks for Detmers. Now to Gary says they have patience first lefties, which is why their numbers have improved. Warbucks on the White Sox plus 104 says we don't go against White Sox as home dogs. I bet them automatically in this position. So it's for me. It's
one of the best home teams this year.
Yeah, no. Look, this line made no sense whatsoever. The fact that the Red Sox would be this big of a favorite, I don't. The only way we had, Capper talking about it last night on our show was that Schultz, the books are saying Schultz is vulnerable, and that could easily be the case. But the fact that a team that's 14 games over 500 at home against a team that is a pretty good road team in the Red Sox, 2 games over 500 on the road, but 8 games over 500 overall. But the fact that this team that's 14 games over 500 would open up as a dog is insane. It's insane. It doesn't make sense. And now you could say, look, there's a big advantage with Tolley over Schultz, but we just saw Tolley give up 6 earned runs over 3 innings in his last start at home. So first 3, first 5 for the Red Sox. I'm thankful that I only moved on the first 3 and the first 5. I had planned to be on first 5 in full game, and then I said, well, where are the books telling me there's an advantage? And the books were only telling me there was an advantage early, so that's where I moved here. Jose, I know you've got to roll out here, so I will be rolling through the rest of the games here, and we got to be quick. Daily sessions in 31 minutes, but we have already talked World Cup action. Jose, thank you so much for rocking with us. Good luck on the Baseball is Dead podcast. We love rocking with you. Jose will be here on Wednesday and Thursday as well. Jose, my man, much love. Any last words for the Capper Sporting Show?
Yes. Shout out to Baseball is Dead. Great interview with Joey Cantillo the other day. In Section 10, the whole thing. I bet the White Sox full game money line here today. So, Jimmy, let's all cash here. You can take the first 5, first 3, and I will laugh as the Red Sox blow this game in the 7th inning or later. So, shout out to you guys in the chat. Justin is also on the over 8.5 for stacks as well. Shout out to you, Justin, Billy, Rob Free, TJ, Deacon, our guy Nasty Nate in here. Nasty Nate, who I'm going to be seeing sometime soon as well, going to Boston in this summer, fall area. So that should be fun. Deacon, I will give Helga a hug for you. She's off of summer school, so she's stuck with me for the rest of the few weeks. So can't wait. Thank you guys all for watching. Become a member if you haven't. And we'll see you guys next time.
There he is, young Jose Bouquet here. Stacks play of the day number 2 is in business here. It's Red Sox, White Sox over 8.5. And we did talk about the Nationals baseball game. The Nationals first 5 is sweet pig milk. All right, let's roll on. We got to be quick here as we roll through the rest of the card. 7:40 p.m. Eastern, Cleveland Guardians, Minnesota Twins, Target Field, Minneapolis, Minnesota. We have Joey Cantillo going up against Taj Bradley in the Rays money line play today for my man Low Key Productions, Low Key in the house. This was such an interesting game here, and it was one that I wanted to move on. Both of the next 2 games, I really wanted to move on. We have a half-run move to the over, and it's not just a half-run move to the over. It's also a heavily juiced to the over now as well, so it's almost like 3/4 of a run move to the over. Then on the money line for this spot here, a big move towards Cantillo, plus 115 to plus 101. And we were dealing with a small move towards him. I guess there was a move during the show, a 7-cent move during the show that I didn't know about. So this plus 115 now to plus 101, so 14 cents of movement, which means we should see what the first half price differences for this Cantillo spot. And we have the Guardians here, a minus 101 full game at Penny. First 5 plus 101. So the Twins are minus 107 full game. First five minus 116. So this is again the exact sort of situation that was confusing me yesterday and got me off of losers. I'm supposed to sit here and say, well, this line's moving towards the Guardians. Well, that must mean that Cantillo is going to pitch well because we know that the Twins can't hit lefties. But yet this total moves to 8.5 and now is juiced to the over. And Taj Bradley's so much more expensive first five than full game. So again, at this point, this is the same issue I had last night where I was like, well, it doesn't really make sense to me. And I'm going to have to stay off of the spot. I can't, it just doesn't correlate in a way where I'm like, okay, this is why I'm doing this. It just doesn't make sense. I can't tell you here, to back the Guardians if Taj Bradley's quite a bit more expensive first five, despite the Twins' inability to hit lefties. You could say that the issue is because of the Twins, the bullpen being trash. And then that would be fair. But if you look at this Guardians bullpen whip, 1.51 over the last 30 days, I've watched them. They've not looked very good. Remember, I was betting the unders in every game with Ramirez out, and I stopped doing that. So, look, I've got to stay off, unfortunately. And it's these two pitchers that I really like that I do believe are, predictable. Bradley's pitching much better. Remember, he didn't look good after the right pectoral inflammation, and now he's found himself. And then we have Cantillo, who's, hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in his last any of his last 4 starts, and he's allowed 1 earned run in 3 of those 4 starts. So I have to be off of this game, unfortunately. Let's roll on to the next spot on the board here, Angels Rangers. This was so interesting. So I told you guys that I loved how expensive the under was, and I said that there was no way it stays at this price. It's just too expensive. But I like that it opened there. So I wrote down the prices so that we could compare and contrast in this Soriano DeGrom start. The first 300 2.5 was minus 170 last night. I told you guys it'd be minus 155 when I woke up this morning, and it was. It had moved 15 cents to the over, which is exactly, how I thought that this was going to bang out. Let's just see if it's moved as well here. So we have as from it. So this is 115 to the over 7. It's a very expensive total, especially when you watch the way DeGrom and Soriano have been pitching. Soriano's not been pitching well, but this is a controlled environment, and they're telling us that DeGrom should pitch well. And last time we saw DeGrom at home was bobblehead night, and he allowed 5 runs in the first inning. Now he showed a lot of character sticking through 6. Oh, it's moved back 10 cents. Wow, that's telling. Wow. And then the first Rangers first 5 minus a half was minus 111, and I said, look, I really want to know what happens in the morning, if this changes at all, because it will tell us a lot about what the book's expectation of Soriano is. And looking at everything that we're seeing, they think Soriano's going to pitch really well here. So again, we're going to look at the first 5 minus a half. This first 5 minus a half for the Rangers is minus 110. It was minus 111 last night. It was minus 108 when I woke up this morning. I'm not sure in a low volatility game if I want a minus a half. And I think the answer is I don't. So then when we get to the full game here, we have this under 7 juiced at Penny, the sharpest book that there is. On all the other books, we see the over 7 juiced to the over. Yes, Flea and Low-Key, we will definitely close with that. So I think that let's just look at the price difference here for the Angels. The Angels are plus 146 full game, and first 5, they're also just plus 146. The Rangers are minus 159 full game, and then first 5, they're minus 170. I wonder if that's enough for me. Again, I'm sitting here with this idea that in low volatility situations, you don't want a minus a half. We all know that. So I don't know why I would jump into it, even though that they are telling us that DeGrom is going to shove and that Soriano will roll right with them. Again, we haven't seen DeGrom at home since he allowed those 5 earned runs in that first inning and then finished it off. He had been pitching very well at home. Didn't allow a run over 6 innings versus the Guardians at home. Then the home start before that, 2 earned runs over 6 against the Astros. So, look, I want the first 3 under, and I want the full game under. I think this is probably a clinical performance by these 2 pitchers. Again, if that's what I want, how on earth could I possibly bet a first 5 minus a half? I think it's irresponsible. if in such a low volatility situation, I can't do that, and I won't. So I think it's unders in this game. Take a quick look at cash flow. I would love to see all the money on the over, and it is. Look at that. 76% of tickets on the over, 93% of cash on the over. Look at that. And the sharpest book in the land has a juice to the under. Look at that. So let's just I'm going to move on both of these. I'm going to be on the first 3 under 2 and the full game under 7. All that money on the over. 2 pitchers who aren't pitching very well. 2 pitchers, the expected ERA for Soriano is now up to 4.33. If you put a line through those first 6 starts, what would his expected ERA be? 6.6? So this is a pretty simple situation for me. The public hammering the over. I'm going to be on the under. Let's roll on. Next spot on the board here, 9:40 p.m. Eastern. Diamondbacks, Padres. We're at Petco Park in San Diego, California. Zach Gallen's been such a gas clown. This guy's just, over his last 3 starts, he's allowed 20 earned runs. I mean, it's insane. And they keep bringing him out there. I don't know why that is. They keep just throwing him out there over and over and over again. We're on our next game here, Diamondbacks, Padres. Sorry, I'm not entirely sure what we're doing with the graphics now that that Jose is gone. Maybe I'll send a message over to Swig to see if he can keep us locked in here with the graphics. But, right now, we'll just talk Diamondbacks, Padres. Let's go over the line history here for the Diamondbacks, Padres. We have a move towards Zach Gallen, plus 113 to plus 105. So, of course, that means that there's a gas clown on the other side, and there is a gas clown on the other side. It's Marquez who's now pitching. I wanted it to be all Johnny Brito, and we're going to get a ton of Johnny Brito, but we didn't see Brito in 2025. Tommy John surgery, internal brace surgery on his right elbow. And then he's looked great in AA San Antonio and then looked even better in AAA El Paso. He looks like he's ready to go. But then, if the line is moving towards a pitcher who's got an ERA over 6, what does that tell you? I mean, the idea is that it tells you he's probably good. Zach Gallen's probably going to pitch well, or this Marquez-Brito combination is going to get lit up and smoked. We have the Diamondbacks plus 105 now. First 5 plus 101. The Padres are minus 114. First 5 minus 116. I think that there's a lot of volatility here. Billy Friedrich says this total is fishy 8.5 with these 2 starters. Let's move back over to that line history with the total. I mean, it's a very high total for, Petco. So let's just go over here. The 8.5, 15-cent move to the over. Now we have 9s coming up. I don't want to be involved in this. I thought I did. If this line wasn't moving towards Gallen, it would be really easy. Because I kind of like Johnny Brito, and I think he will pitch well here. So let's roll here. Robert Cherry is expecting Wheeler to deal and liking DeGrom and Soriano to deal as well over their strikeout totals for him. All right, let's move on. Blue Jays, Giants, next spot on the board. I moved on the Jays full game. This was a spot that our San Francisco Giants whisperer, the great Nutflush Allen, was saying was a look. He also said take the Jays first 3. I'm a big believer in Spencer Miles here, We figure this is the Fisher Miles, a 1-2. Let's see if that is here at this point listed. They just have Spencer Miles listed at this point here. Trevor McDonald, I don't get it. Look, I don't get it. He sprinkles magical fairy dust. I can't understand what the hell is going on with Trevor McDonald. He couldn't. He allowed 15 walks. 15 walks in, 15 innings in Sacramento? And that was a problem. And then he came up to the show and wasn't walking a single batter. There's times he looks really good. And that last start, he looked really good. Didn't allow a run over 6 innings. If you use the eye test, you're sure that you could hit Trevor McDonald. Bullpen-wise, Giants' bullpen is bad. The Jays' bullpen's not looked very good lately, but I think they're much better than the Giants' bullpen. And the Jays aren't hitting righties at all, 243, 685 OPS, which is a problem compared to what the Giants are doing. Let's get into the line history. I moved on the Blue Jays on the full game, but I was questioning whether I wanted more. Let's see if we do want more here. We have only a 3-cent move to the Jays, minus 107 to minus 110. This had gone to minus 113, so we've come back, 3 cents. Both teams, the Giants are 4 games under 500 at home. The Jays are 5 games under 500 on the road. But the Jays are playing real bad baseball. They're coming off getting lit up and smoked by the Giants last night. When we get to the total here in this spot, we have a 5-cent move towards the over. So I really want to know the price difference first 5 in full game. That's the key here. And shout out to our guy Old E, working hard and taking time to run with us. We have the Blue Jays minus 112 here at Penny, and first 5 minus 106. So the Giants are plus 103, and first 5 minus 109. So I'm not going to add anything to this here. TJ says, how can you bet Toronto? So 7 of the last 9 righties they faced, they couldn't get a run off. The last 12 Jays they faced only scored twice and more than 2 once. Well, then, the idea would be the under. I think that Trevor McDonald is a suspect pitcher here. And I understand that the Giants haven't been hitting, but the Fisher-Miles combination is just winning and winning and winning and winning. So there's my first thought, is just that I just know that these guys deliver here. I also think I have a big bullpen advantage over the Giants. So now I have a starting pitching advantage and I have a bullpen advantage, and none of the high leverage arms were used yesterday in that big loss. Now you could say none of the Giants high leverage arms, but the Giants high leverage arms, are trash. Then when we get in this interleague spot, 48% of the tickets on the Giants and all the big bets are coming. 48% of tickets on the Jays and all the big bets are coming in on the Jays here. Now you could say, well, look, this line isn't moving. It's moving towards the Giants. That's all valid. I just think it's a nice spot to back the Jays after getting destroyed in San Francisco. I think the Jays are a better baseball team. TJ moving on the under 8 here in this one. But I'm look, Spencer Miles right now is such a better pitcher than Trevor McDonald. And then we have the bullpen advantage as well. So I'm pretty comfortable with the situation on the Blue Jays. I'm certainly not adding the first 5 here. But I'm pretty comfortable with it. And then with TJ on the under, should we take another look at it here? It's a very low total. And I don't trust Trevor McDonald. He's the one that I think is the vulnerable pitcher here. Rob Free says, take Gallen over 1.5 walks if your books offer it here. But I am on the Toronto Blue Jays full game. I'm not going to add the first 3. I'm not going to add anything. Let's roll into our final spot in MLB here on the board. It is Rockies, Dodgers here. The Dodgers continuing to be a great live bet every time they're down, even if there's only 1 inning for them to come back into it. Let's talk about Chavez Ravine. Let's talk about the weather in Chavez Ravine. Another part about the weather in Oracle is that the marine layer is not in effect, even though that's a bigger Petco thing. But it's usually we see heavy offensive suppression at Oracle. That's not today. It's just minus 4% today. For our final spot on the board here at Chavez Ravine in Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, minus 2% runs, plus 15% homers, plus 1% doubles and triples, and minus 9% singles here. And Turnbuckle Tommy says, I trust McDonald at home. And then he says the last 2 teams to come out of Coors swept their next series. We'll see. Giants money line for Turnbuckle Tommy here. So here with Lorenzen starting to pitch a little bit better, but it's just like Kyle Freeland. Look, Freeland, there's going to be times when the market tells you Freeland's going to shove. I just have to stay away from these guys. They're gas cans. Robleski on the other side, pitching very well, going deep in the games. Last start was a thing of beauty. 3 earned runs over 7 innings in that AAA ballpark in Sacramento, and he's struck out 11. He's not a guy who strikes out those kind of numbers. It was a clear outlier performance, but it was an impressive one. The Rockies are hitting lefties. The Dodgers are hitting righties. It's kind of a, it's a spot that where's the advantage? It's always going to be with the Dodgers, I guess. 282, 817 OPS versus righties. Rockies versus lefties, 290, 796. Turnbuckle Tommy, I think that's because of the run suppressing situation at Oracle. I think every single pitcher in Major League Baseball will have a better statistical profile at Oracle Park than they have everywhere else. But I hear that he's certainly more comfortable there. Total wise, it's opened up at 9. It's now 9.5. We'll take a look at the cash flow here. I think that the Rockies are a real live dog almost always. Their offense is just humming along. Here we have 92% of the tickets, 84% of cash on the Dodgers, 52% of tickets, 59% of cash on the under. And then when we look at the line movement here for the Dodgers, is this a cash cow situation? It's not moving. It's just sitting here at minus 260. The first move was against the Dodgers, went down to minus 250 and then back to minus 260. I mean, I get, Lorenzen tends to step up in bigger spots. He's a high character guy. If he was to pitch okay here, would I be shocked? I mean, I don't know if I would be here. Billy Friedrich says too many left-handed bats in the Rocks lineup. They're going to have issues tonight. I mean, but at what price? At what price are the Dodgers? I mean, I love Robleski. And, anyone who was on the Dodgers run line lost yesterday. Do we want to go back to it today? Minus 130. This line's not moving towards the Dodgers, not, running towards the Dodgers. But I hear what you're saying. I guess I'll take another look at the Dodgers on the run line here. Dodgers minus 1.5. All right, let's roll. But first, let's do a review of action. I came with 7 bets in Major League Baseball. Rays first 3 minus 135, first 5 minus 120. Red Sox first 3 minus 135, first 5 minus 130. Marlins first 3 minus 115, first 5 minus 118, and the Blue Jays at minus 113. I added 2 bets that were voided almost immediately in Game 1 of Brewers Cardinals. That's the over 7.5 and the Brewers first 5 minus a half. Now, I guess we can sort of understand why the Brewers' first 5 minus a half wasn't as big, as we've had this move towards Swanson here. Let's just see if this first 5 line has changed at all. No Hunter Dobbins, and now with Swanson. The first 5 minus a half has moved 10 cents since the pitching change. 10 cents on the pitching change. Let's see if they were going to give us a primary now over at RotoWire. Where the hell is these lineups? Oh, there we go. Let's see. We do a refresh and see if we can get a primary. What is going to be the Cardinals' plan? It's Bruce Zimmerman. The lefty Bruce Zimmerman is the plan. Honestly, I'm kind of happy that the bets are avoided. But let me tell you guys about the lefty Bruce Zimmerman here. We have 11 minutes before the daily sesh. So Bruce Zimmerman, we'll go here. So this is a 5th round pick in the 2017 draft, a journeyman in Bruce Zimmerman. We saw him last year as a Milwaukee Brewer, but he spent most of the time in Nashville. That's a hard bullpen to crack. In Memphis this year, he started all of his spots, 15 starts for him. And he's looked pretty good, 3.78 ERA, 1.27 whip. He was a pitcher during the pandemic for the Orioles. That's when he came up, was during the pandemic for the Baltimore Orioles. Soft tossing, tricky lefty that the Brewers don't know. Rob Free, by the way, says the Dodgers price alone keeps me off, says barely winning these games here. So look, Bruce Zimmerman will have to go over, his last few games, which we can do. Why don't we take a look at his game log here? But we want his minor league game log. Let's see if we can get that up here. We'll take 1 second. And here we go. See how he's been pitching of lately. It's tricky when these guys come up, man. I mean, sorry, game long. Oh, here we go. Minors game long. Okay, here we go. So let's see what he's been doing over the last little bit here. This is your primary today in Game 1 of the double header. And come on. Minor league game logs. Okay, it's still. Come on here. Show me these minor league game logs. Okay, here we go. 2026. Bruce Zimmerman. Sorry, it took me a second here. Let's see what he's done of late. Why are you still? God, it's so annoying. Bruce Zimmerman. Give me the game logs. All right, I'm not going to sit here and hem and haw. I'll try one more time to see if I can get these, but I don't know why they're not coming up. Okay. Minor league game logs, pitching 2026. This should come up now, and then I will forever hold my peace. Here we go. Here we go. Sorry, my bad. It was already up. Okay, here we go. So the last time he started was July 1st. So this is a nice rest situation. And Bruce Zimmerman has not allowed more than a run over his last 3 starts. He's gone 16 2/3. He's allowed a combined 2 earned runs and just 11 hits, shutting down the opponents. He's been very, very consistent and looked good doing it. I mean, this is a chance for a journeyman to have a career. Warbuck says, I like Zimmerman. So with all this being said, I think it's tricky. I think they're a tricky spot. I bet you TJ would have preferred Dobbins, a known entity, for the over than this Swanson opener to Zimmerman, the lefty. But we know the Brewers hit lefties, so it should, and those two bets are avoided anyway. So let's review action. I went over the ones that I've bet. Let's talk about what will be added here. I'm going to bet the Cubs. The opening line, I need to put my money where my mouth is here. Need to. Then we have the Tigers first 5 -1/2. I want to study longer here with the Skubal again start. The Braves need to be bet. Now, I understand that the first 5 +1/2 makes more sense. I just can't get past this. Line is moving heavily on the full game. And I think that's what I should trust here. And obviously that could be a mistake. But when I get my head involved here, when I start thinking, oh, well, look at these are my X's and O's and they tell me this, instead of just trusting where the big massive line moves taking place, it's burnt me. The full game under in Yankees, Rays, TJ talking about it and how we need to bet now. I'm going to spend a little bit more time on it. As you guys know, I'm already moving. The first 3 under in the Astros Nationals, I like. Now, I'm going to see how expensive the first 3 under 3 is. As soon as Senga's posted, this line here for Royals Mets makes no sense whatsoever. It just doesn't make any sense. And if Senga's listed and it stays this expensive for the Mets, then I really do believe they should be bet. Now, we know that Seth Lugo has, Rebenga in mind against the Mets team that wouldn't start him and kept him as a long man in the bullpen. And he proved in 2024 that they were wrong to do that. I don't know why this over is so flying towards the over, with Wheeler Abbott. I really think it should be trusted. I mean, why in the world would this be at a 9 now? I know it's very offensive conditions, but that's just an insane move to the over that should be respected. I'm on the Red Sox first 3 and first 5 already. Guardians, Twins, I have to stay off because it just doesn't correlate. The fact that it's moved to the over, and yet the Twins are so much more expensive first 5, tells me that the books expect the Twins bullpen to lose this game, and maybe that's the case. Well, if that's the case, why don't I just bet why don't I just bet the Guardians live if the books believe there's an advantage for Bradley? I care more about money than I do what my record looks like. So then we have the first 3 under 2 and the full game under 7. I'm going to move on in Angels Rangers. That's a definite move. I thought I was going to move on the Padres. I cannot. So let me just make sure that is here full of question marks here. Then the Jays full game. I mean, certainly TJ poked holes into it, makes me nervous. But I think there's just advantages that I'm going to take advantage of. The entire game, I think the Blue Jays will have advantage on the mound. Yes, they're not hitting. But Trevor McDonald's nothing to me. And then the Dodgers on the run line, I'm going to take some time with. It does appeal that it's not been cashing of late. Lorenzen is capable of pitching well here, but wouldn't Robleski be sort of a similar situation? By the way, Billy Friedrich added Kyle Tucker over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at -118. And says he is locked in. Okay, so we've got just a few minutes to talk WNBA. Look, I was atrocious yesterday. I was so bad. I have no excuse for it. I was so wrong with my angle on the Sparks. It's just embarrassing. And I just got to pick myself up off the ground and attack, and which I'm doing here. Now, Fibich appears to not be playing for the Liberty. I think that the Wings are overvalued right now, and especially over that win against Toronto that had no point guards. I mean, that was just the perfect situation for Dallas. So I wanted the Liberty. I bet the -4.5. I should have obviously waited at a 4. So then here with this one, the Liberty come in off the 93-85 win over an underman Aces squad in the Commissioner's Cup. Then they beat the Lynx 99-86 home on Friday. And I'm just certain that the Wings are overvalued. When the Wings play against a team that has no point guard, they're going to dominate them because of their impressive guard play. I mean, they have a really deep team at the point and at the 2, but the point being most important. So I don't care that they come in off that 89-76 win at Toronto on Sunday. And they've won the first 2 games of this 4-game trip. I want to fade the Wings. So I'm on the Liberty 4.5. I should have waited to the 4. Should have waited. And then here we go, you guys, at 10 p.m. Chicago Sky, Phoenix Mercury, and we have it. And we've talked about this often in WNBA. And look, I don't want to get too confident in situations, but they seemingly cash every single time. This line makes no sense. The Phoenix Mercury have won 3 straight. They've won 4 or 5. They just destroyed the Storm at home on Thursday. This is game 2 of a 3-game homestand. It's a great spot for them. The Sky are a well-coached team, and maybe they've handled the loss for Kaya Jackson. Maybe they've figured it out, and they're starting to move forward because of how good they are coaching-wise. But this line makes no sense whatsoever. It makes no sense. I mean, even AM is on the Mercury, as he should be from the opening line. This line moved from 3.5 to 4.5, and that's the expectation. It should have kept moving towards the Mercury. The fact that it came back is insane. Sharp bets are coming in on the Chicago Sky. The only thing that would have made this, when we say, oh, this has to be bet, is if more of the public was on Phoenix. Now, 63% of the tickets are on Phoenix, and just 31% of the cash. I mean, this does not make sense. I want to now the spots where I've said, look, they must be bet. This must be bet. That's in the situation if Phoenix had 80% of tickets and 90% of cash, I would say, look, this guy have to be bet. They have to be bet. And maybe this guy doesn't have to be bet here. Look, GeoBet, I'm doing this solo right now. So you're just gonna have to stick with me. I know it says bet review, but you're just gonna have to stick with me here, and I apologize for about the lack of graphics, but just stick with me here. The question GeoBet has here on the what is the opening line on the total here for this one? The total opened up in Dallas, New York at 174.5. Now it's 175, and there's been no movement on the total in Chicago, Phoenix. So that's the only reason why I'm telling you that the Chicago Sky must be bet. I would be screaming it if there was 85 and 85 tickets and cash on the Mercury. The Sharps are on the Sky, and it should be bet. This line does not make any sense. Mercury won 3 straight and 4 or 5, and yet it's just a 3. Come on. And who cares what the Sky did in Vegas? The first game they played Vegas, Vegas was clearly overlooking them because they had the Commissioner's Cup coming up. And then the second time, now everybody sees how important Asia Wilson is to the Aces. This 3 is insane. It's fucking insane. And it has to be bet. If you can get the hook, all the better. I'd be screaming at the top of my lungs here. And Sammy Colker says it's Skies. They're much better than people think. Mercury have had their little win streak. I think it ends tonight. Sammy Colker, this line is screaming to us that we must bet the Sky. And I will do that. Now, I've already bet the Liberty 4.5, so there's, I'm stuck with that number. But I've also made moves on tomorrow's card. I was very angry about what happened last night. So I'm already on the Valks at 7.5. We'll see if Julie Alleman can play, but they have no point guard, and they're a mess. The Tempo are a mess. And then I am on the Fever minus 5.5. Look, I watched how bad the Sparks look. Without Kelsey Plum, they're an absolute mess. Could I have made a mistake with a cognitive bias? Yes, I could easily have made a mistake because I watched the Valks play really well last night, and I watched the Sparks play really badly. So could I be using biases? Possibly. But I've already moved on both of those spots. The Valks at minus 7.5 and the Fever at minus 5.5. I hope that line moves quite a bit. There we go here. There we go. And Robert Cherry saying agree, bet the Sky. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. We have a big daily sesh show starring Dutch Boy Fresh and Dabby Cab, and of course Chappie Funkadelic. Thank you guys. Flea and Low Key, Robert Cherry, Sammy Colker, GeoBed, Kelly McGinnis, Nasty, Nate, Warbucks, Light Cheese, Billy Friedrich, Rob Free, Turnbuckle, Tommy, TJ, Johnny Bender, Joel Torres, Groovy Alien, Old E, Thomas Maggio, AM. What a great group. When we get to the specialty plays, we talked about Sacks play day 1 and 2, Tigers A's over 8, Red Sox Chicago White Sox over 8.5. TJ Boston money line is his spot there. Dewan Turntine Grand Slam play today is Marlins first 5. Billy Friedrich Pigmill play today, Nats first 5 money line. Double Taint Tuesday, Cubs money line and the Rays money line. And Rob Free's play of the day is Scooball to record the win. Thank you guys. I will see you guys over at the Daily Sesh. Let's go get this cash. Big day. an important week before the All-Star break because next week's going to be slow as molasses. Let's get this money. Let's get this cash. On behalf of all of us, Pub Sports Radio, thank you guys for supporting us. And let's milk these bookies, man. Leche. Hey, los bookmakers. Milk that shit. Let's go. I guess I need to end the stream this way.
It's easier to sleep in the black. When you're losing your ass and feeling so, you know what to do. Tune in to Pub Sports Radio. Easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. It's a roller coaster ride, you're gonna catch a bad beat. No problem, keep your head up and just bet the spreadsheet. It's easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. All thanks to Jeff Slaughter, these shows have our backs. POD's always rolling, especially the stats. Easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. We got Jimmy, Jose, Dabby and the fam. Dutch wine time, Spooner and OG Wham. So hit the like button, don't say that you can't. If you know what's best, just put your money on tape.